Good morning, everyone. It's January 2nd. We are going to begin our regular meeting with a pledge of allegiance. Kel, could you lead us in that?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I could do it in French too.
That'd be weird.
What?
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
I can't. Doesn't make a ton of sense, but okay.
Right? Seventh
Pledge
grade
allegiance to
French
the American
class.
flag in French.
Oh, that's cool. All right, let's move on to item number 3, roll call.
Commissioner District 1, Randy Netherland.
I'm here.
Commissioner District 2, Kevin Schutte.
Here.
Commissioner District 3, Sharon Trask.
I'm here. All right, move on to item number 4, correspondence and organizational business. Do we have any correspondence?
We do. Applications were received for open positions on the following advisory boards. Planning Advisory Commission from William Harris. Mason Transit Authority Board from Patrick O'Brien and Richard Stevens Sr. A resignation was received from Bill Kendrick from the Civil Service Commission. And a preliminary petition for a county road improvement district was received for Shetland Road from Douglas Greer.
All right, great, thank you. Move on to item number 4.2, selection of new chair and vice chair.
Madam Chair, I move or nominate Commissioner Netherland to serve as chair for 2024.
I'll second that one. We'll call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Abstain.
Go ahead if you want, but here you go.
Okay. See, in Mason, we would usually say, would you please do us the honor of finishing this one out?
Yeah, do it.
Okay. No, so that's a no. Okay. We'll move on to item number 5, which is open forum for citizens' input. If
Can,
there's,
can we go back just
Yeah.
a little
Mr. Chair,
bit?
you didn't give me an opportunity to nominate Commissioner Trask.
No, no,
oh,
no,
sorry,
no, no.
yeah.
So, ignore that one.
Madam Chair, I would like to nominate, Commissioner, well, you want to nominate Commissioner Trask for
No,
vice chair? Chair?
no.
Oh,
I mean,
you can, I'll move aside, okay.
No,
I would like to nominate our commissioner over here for vice chair, if you don't mind.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Abstain.
that's the new norm.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want to trade chairs or?
No, we'll be good until next meeting. Okay, we're gonna move on to item number 5, which is our open forum for citizens' input. This is your opportunity to talk to the commission and the public on any issue that is not on the agenda. It's asked that if it is on the agenda, that you please hold off and you'll be given an opportunity to speak at the time when that comes up. But if it's not on the agenda, you'll be given 3 minutes to speak, up to 15 minutes total for everybody, so please be brief. I think we'll be fine with that. With that being said, could you please let us know your name and where you're from?
Pete Butkus, Mason County. The clerk of the board has the rest of the information. Good morning, Mr. Chair and Madam Chair Emeritus and Chair and former Chair. Last month, you all sent out a very nice letter inviting me to consider joining the Mason Transit Authority Board. I've declined to do that. I have enough civic commitments as it is, but I just dropped by to say thank you for the offer and the consideration. It was nice to get a letter signed by all 3 of you. Beats an eviction notice any day.
Yeah.
That's it.
We can make arrangements for that. Somebody call it.
May you have a great year.
Hey,
Thank
thank you for
you.
coming in.
Bye.
Happy New Year.
Good to see
Being
you.
here.
Bye, Pete.
It's a good man.
Yeah.
Are there any other citizens who would like to speak that are in the room at this point? Hearing none, is there anybody in Zoom land that would like to speak? If so, please raise your hand. If you don't know how to do that, please just unmute yourself and let your name be known. Okay, seeing none, we are going to go ahead and move on to item number 6, which is the adoption of today's agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move adoption of today's agenda as presented.
I'll second.
It has been moved and seconded for the adoption of today's agenda as presented. Any discussion, any polls? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 7, approval of minutes.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the November 28th and November 4th, 2023 special meeting minutes.
December.
December 4th. With that, yeah, I second that.
Okay. With that
say
adjustment,
that?
it is seconded. Is there any,
It's all good.
any polls on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes of November 28th and December 4th have been passed as presented. Next up is item number 8, which is the approval of our action agenda. All items listed under the action agenda will be spelled out to the public. After it is spelled out, you'll be given an opportunity to take it off for a separate vote if you would like to testify or talk further on that. The commissioners would also be given that opportunity. With that being said, I'll just go ahead and read both of them. Such a big one. Item number 8.1, approval of the Women, Infants, and Children WIC contract amendment to extend the period of performance through February 29th, 2024 to continue staff training in preparation for public health and human services to begin providing WIC nutrition program services by March 2024. Item number 8.2, approval for the chair to sign the Youth Cannabis and Commercial Tobacco Prevention Program contract for the total amount of $21,330 from October 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024 to plan, implement, and evaluate cannabis and commercial tobacco. Now that that has been read to the public, is there anybody who would like to take off an item for a special vote? Commissioners? Anybody in the public? Anybody in Zoom land? If so, state your name, unmute yourself, and let us know. Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move approval of today's action agenda as presented.
I'll second.
It has been moved and seconded for the approval of the action agenda as presented. Any comments?
Super excited for WIC.
I do, you guys, I was
Yeah.
just waiting for you.
I had a Y board meeting just before Christmas, and they're super excited as well. So they're happy to have that program getting restarted in their facility. So thanks for that partnership.
Thanks for bringing it back. With that being said, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, and it carries. Item number 9, other business. Department heads and elected officials. Are there any other department heads or elected officials who would like to speak at this time? You want to come up and tell us about WIC? We got to kill a few minutes.
Sure.
There we go.
Well done.
Okay, so, Dave Linden, Director of Mason County Public Health and Human Services. In 2021, WIC and family planning both left the county kind of with no notice. So we've been without those for the last 2 years. So it's taken us 2 years to get this process through. And we approached it in a different way than it has been done in the past, in that we did a 3-way partnership. So it's a partnership between public health, the county, the hospital, and the YMCA, with the YMCA providing the location, hospital providing us with nutrition resources, and then we'll be staffing it. So it's a way for us to get that rolling, and probably in the black a lot faster than we would have normally, because we don't have those kinds of expenses. And the YMCA is a great location. It's trusted by so many people, and doesn't have that kind of really formal look to it. So we're really excited to be going in there. This contract extension changes. So our first part of our contract, we don't have to serve clients, and we still get paid some contractual money. Once we start seeing clients, then we change over to a federal contract from a state contract, and we'll be providing WIC services as we go forward from there. So we'll be rocking from then on. We've got somebody great in place. Yeah, the whole staff is really pitched in to get this thing going. Melissa has been just amazing in keeping track of and making sure that this all comes together. So big kudos to Melissa.
Really fortunate to attract Rachel Hook
Yes.
to come to the program. She's had a long career in
Yeah, 22 and a half years with WIC.
and has proven herself in other areas. So super excited to have. She's a resident of Mason County, so it's kind of nice to have somebody come and contribute to our county and work here. And excited to have her on board. And the Y was really constructed specifically
Right.
for WIC, right? So
Well, for clinical services, yeah.
clinical, yeah.
So we'll be providing WIC services at least 3 days a week. And then Mason Health has the opportunity on the other 2 days to utilize the facility for other clinical services as well. So it really is a way for the hospital and for public health and the Y to outreach to the community in a way that we just haven't done before. You know, as time goes by, we found that the public health is better served if we can process some of these things, get them out to the community, get into the community rather than coming through the public health location. So.
Yeah, I was, just real quick, sorry.
Yeah, no.
Just real quick, I was so disappointed when Community Action Council removed WIC from Mason County. And so I am so appreciative and so excited for this to come back. There's so many people that used it, and when it went away, they had to go to Thurston County.
Yeah, 550 people lost services right away.
Yeah.
So we're going to bring those folks back.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you bringing it back, and I knew we wanted to give time because this has been something very special to Commissioner Trask, so appreciate you getting that done for all of our people here.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you. With that, you bought just enough time. We are actually there. It is 9:15, so with that being said, we're gonna move into our public hearing. 10.1 is a public hearing to consider adopting the amendment to the Mason County Development Area Zoning Map, rezoning parcel number 32003-13-00-100 and 32003-31-00010 from rural commercial RC2 to rural industrial RI. Staff, Marissa Watson.
Morning, Commissioners. I'm gonna share my screen here.
I just had a flashback. We never had any of this stuff when I first started. We didn't even have a TV out there.
Come a long way.
Matter of fact, I don't think we had a TV when you first came on. No, that came afterwards. We
Yeah.
got won a prize or something. We actually did. So one of our staff applied for something and won it for us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's why we moved up in the 21st, 22nd, wherever the heck we are now. I don't know.
Okay, so we have a rezone request from our applicant, Dietz Padune, for two parcels, parcels 32003-13-00100 and 32003-31-00010. And the request is from the current rural commercial 2 zoning to rural industrial zoning. So on the map here, you can see the vicinity, and the location there with the push pin. And then, so the current zoning, and this is the old configuration of the parcels. The parcels recently went through a boundary line adjustment, and I'll show you that updated adjustment here in a minute. But as you can see, rural commercial 2 zoning with the self-storage facility. And then the rural industrial is right next to it, rural residential above it, and rural natural resource. So the applicant recently went through a boundary line adjustment and was approved for that. So obviously our GIS mapping isn't updated yet, but these are the new boundaries that have been approved. And then the request is to change the mapping to update this to rural industrial here, as well as this section here, and then keep the rural commercial for the rural commercial 2 for the self-storage facility. And so this update is really just making the zoning match the use that was there since the mid-80s. So, and the boundary line adjustment, of course, to correctly outline the uses on our GIS mapping. So we accepted a application from the applicant on August 31st, and staff determined that was a complete application. Staff reviewed it against the 8 rezone criteria, which staff decided that it met all those 7 criteria, 8 not being applicable. The PAC heard the request at their November meeting, and they unanimously approved the request and recommended it to the Board of County Commissioners. Staff also accepted a non-project SEPA checklist from the applicant and made a determination of non-significance on October 11th. And the comment period ended on that on October 25th. I did not receive any comments on the SEPA, and I have not received any comments from the public on this request at all. So staff is recommending, as well as the Planning Advisory Commission, that the board approve the request as requested by the applicant. And if the board has any questions, I can take those.
Does the board have any questions for staff?
Marissa, when was the boundary line adjustment approved?
Oh, I think it has a date on there.
It's like October.
I think it was October.
Relatively recently then?
So there's
Date
something on
approved.
there you actually see from here?
Yes, so it's October
It's my
5th.
signature.
Gotcha.
October 5th on that map.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions for staff regarding our presentation? Is there any questions from the public, from staff regarding the presentation? If anybody in the audience here? Seeing none? Is there anybody in the public? If so, please raise your hand. If you don't know how to raise your hand, please unmute, say your name, and we will acknowledge you at that point. I hear none. Then we thank you very much, and we will move on to public testimony. Is there any public that would like to testify to this project or against this project in the room? Seeing none. If there's somebody in the audience in the Zoom room, if you would like to testify for or against this project, now's the time for you to raise your hand or unmute yourself and tell us your name so we can call on you. I see none. With that being said, I will bring it back to the commission.
Right, Mr. Chair? I would move that we approve and adopt the amendment to the Mason County Development Areas Map Zoning Parcels 32003-13-00100 and 32003-31-00010 from rural commercial 2 to rural industrial.
Second?
All right, it has been moved and seconded for the approval and adoption of an amendment to the Mason County Development Area Zoning Map, rezoning parcels 32003-13-00100 and 32003-31-00010 from rural commercial 2, RC2, to rural industrial, RI. Discussion.
Great presentation, and I'd like to thank the PAC for working on this as well.
All right, with that being said, is all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. So with that, we will close the public hearing, and we'll move back to our regular calendar with board calendar and reports. Commissioner Schutte, can you start, please, and Commissioner Traskness, and then myself.
Sure, thank you.
He's like, that's it, really?
It's as simple as that. So concluding our board meeting here this morning, we have an executive session later today, and then I'll be at MaceCon for a couple of hours, working on a few things there. Later on this week, I'll be participating in part of probably the canvassing board trainings and signature verification trainings that were sent out last week. So I'm not sure, I think those are all virtual, but I'll be at least in for part of those. Looking ahead to next week, we have our briefings, Mason Crisis Services System of Care Work Group, MaceCom board meeting, Criminal Justice Working Team, Opioid Stakeholder meeting, and our IT Steering Committee meeting. Also have a MaceCom Supervisors meeting, and then a Skokomish project check-in with the Army Corps of Engineers. Of course, then we're at another holiday before coming back for our next board meeting on the 16th.
Commissioner, can I ask you, how are we doing on that, the scope thing? Is there something that we can do to still help you? Because we haven't talked about it as a commission. And
Yeah, it might be a good time for Mark to schedule a discussion with some updates. It's there are things that are, outside of our control that that staff is working through, and definitely have good partners with Great Peninsula Conservancy and Hood Canal Salmon Enhancement Group that have been helping out on real estate acquisition and things like that. So this is more of just a check-in with, I don't know if you remember Ginny Derrick, she's kind of the head civilian over there, and so she likes to check in every couple of months, so that's kind of the nature of that call.
Well, I know you've been working hard on it, so if there's something that's needed
Yeah.
from us,
For sure.
standing together, we always get a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think it's been super helpful to have a right-of-way agent on staff. That position was open for quite a while, and so now that we have that filled and hit the ground running, I think that's been helpful as well, but might be an opportunity for the discussion here in the next few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely been a challenge. It's quite a big project. And with all the parts and pieces that you don't think about until you get into the details, there's definitely been some challenges along the way, and staff is working through that with everybody, and I think it'd be a good time for an update.
It's been going on since I came here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's longer, when you
Yeah.
go back to the GI, and, we got the funding, for construction, I think authorized in November of 2018. So we're now into 5.5 years or so with that part of it, but have yet to get it out to bid and turn dirt, so.
And I know our communication must be better. When I first came in, we, as a commissioner, went out there to the community and found out, although we were being told that everything was great and nobody had any issues, we found out that was not accurate. We got out there, but I haven't had any calls in several years, so you must be working
Yeah,
deeply
so I
with
mean,
these.
I think a couple of things have been really helpful. Evan Bowder in the Conservation District has done a ton of work. Joseph Pavel and the tribe, Skokomish tribe, have been, really helpful as well. They've been doing a lot of updates with the SWAT team, the Skokomish Watershed Action Team has, at each of their twice-a-year meetings, they've had updates and community engagement opportunities and things like that. And so I think what changed was, a few years ago, there was the proposal to move the road. And I think now that that's been separated or, is off the table and it's not part of the actual project in the river, that's, I think, changed a lot of the concern from the community there. I mean, there's still individual pockets of, kind of have to get some buy-in from landowners and things like that, but the major community-wide concern about we're gonna move this road, kind of to the wall of the valley, since that's off the table, I think that's changed a lot of the dynamic out there. And then I think too, Mike Collins and our road crew being able to put, in place some emergency repairs at the dips to make it passable, more passable during rain events has helped the community quite a bit there as well. So I think it's just a lot of those things working together that have kind of eased the tension in the community out there, but definitely still some work to do on the individual side, I think. I think that's fair.
When we go in that hard as we did back then, like I said, there was standing room only when we showed up and we were told everything was good and there wasn't an issue. It takes a long time to overcome that. So he has to go out there and overcome that every time, because the trust was gone when we first walked in that room. Can't blame them. We were here at the commission, we're voting on things thinking it's all great, everything is fine, everybody's on board. And then when that didn't turn out to be accurate, so I know you had to do a lot of work, and again, if we're needed, please keep us in mind.
Will do, thank you.
I've actually had the opportunity to get boots on the ground with Army Corps engineer staff, and Loretta and I went out there and kind of walked through some pretty significant portions of the project. And when you actually see the magnitude of change over time in terms of the flow of the river, number one, I think it opens your eyes to the significant power of water. And number two, just the fact that if we can do something to help centralize it and keep it in its boundaries, that it would definitely benefit those individuals within that area, so.
Well, because it's a new story for you, but I worked for the PUD in 1990, I used to get my dinner off that road. The salmon go across, you just get out of your truck, pick up a salmon, take it home for dinner. I'm not kidding you, that's, all the linemen and stuff did it, that's just the way it worked. It's fun watching too. Commissioner.
All right. So we do have our executive session next. I have the EDC legislative planning meeting, a meeting with Amber Lewis, Public Works Board Executive Committee meeting. Tomorrow's also the Republican Women's meeting at Railroad Tap. And then Thursday I'll be in Olympia for the Legislative Steering Committee prep meeting for session, because I think we all know the session starts on the 8th, I believe. And then we'll be back here for briefing, Wasac Virtual Assembly, Turning Point meetings, EDC meeting, Public Works Board Executive meeting, Pack Mountain Executive Finance Committee meeting, Public Works Board traditional meeting, and then we start our Wasac LSC virtual updates. Those are every other week. There's also the chamber, oh man, the chamber
We're
annual
from
awards,
Boston.
man, chamber annual awards gala on the, what was that, the 12th? Then we have the holiday on the 15th, and then we're here for a commission meeting on the 16th.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to start off by saying, first, Commissioner Trask, you did an excellent job as chair this last year, and I want to thank you for all your hard work and all the extra meetings you had to attend. And sad for myself is, I'm reading my calendar and I'm kind of chuckling because I could or maybe not show up for the canvassing board. I could or maybe not show up for the signature, and I realize now it's my job now. That moves over to me, so I have to attend both of them. So much for laughing at you for having to do that one. But thank you for all you did. You did an excellent job this year.
It was fun.
The Mason Transit Authority, North Mason Chamber, Mason County Housing Authority, Rotary, I celebrated 25 years from my first date with my wife. And it was, it's been a heck of a ride. I just want to thank her for everything. I wouldn't be doing any of this stuff if it wasn't for her. I reached up to get her, and there's no question of that. If anybody's ever met her, she's much better than I am, but I'm working on it. I did a swearing in right in this room with George Blush and Dale Elmland. Had a left board meeting this morning. Coming up, we have an executive session right after this. Introduction to canvassing board, which I will be attending for sure. Rotary signature verification, which I will be attending for sure. And I have an Olympic Regional Clean Air Authority meeting. I have another Rotary meeting. Then I have a Finance Committee meeting with the Olympic Regional Clean Air Authority, and that brings us back. And I'm sure there'll be a lot more in between it. With that being said, is there anything more you'd like to add? Anybody?
Congratulations, being the chair.
Oh, yeah.
And the
You know
vice
what's
chair.
funny is over the years, people don't know, it's not like we all are diving into it or wanting to do it or killing. There's been conversations, do we want to do it this year? Do you want to do it? It's not all glory or anything like that, I can assure you. If anything, when things go bad, and we have any problems, you know where the target is. It's not hard to find it when it's sitting in the middle.
51 more weeks to go.
Yep. Okay, so if there's nothing more, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, hearing no objection, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Happy New Year. So.